Once upon a time, in a tiny flower petal boat, a minuscule fairy named Thumbelina was born. She was no bigger than a human thumb and had delicate wings as transparent as glass. Her hair was a wild tangle of golden locks, and her eyes shone like the brightest stars. Thumbelina lived in a beautiful garden, surrounded by vibrant flowers and towering trees. The garden was her world, and she knew every inch of it. Thumbelina spent her days flitting from petal to petal, exploring every nook and cranny of her tiny world. She sipped nectar from flowers, played hide-and-seek among the leaves, and danced on the soft green grass. Her laughter was like the tinkling of a tiny bell, and her smile could light up the entire garden. One day, a gentle breeze swept through the garden, rustling the leaves and petals. Thumbelina's boat was caught in the wind, and she was carried away from her home. She clung to the boat's edge, her tiny heart racing with excitement and fear. The wind took her to a far-off land, a vast and unfamiliar garden. Thumbelina's boat drifted along a winding stream, and she met a friendly fish named Finley. Finley offered to take her on a journey through the garden's streams and waterways. Thumbelina eagerly accepted, and Finley swam alongside her boat, pointing out hidden wonders and secrets of the garden. As they glided through the water, they met a kind field mouse named Maximilian. Maximilian was wise and gentle with a heart full of kindness. He shared his knowledge of the garden with Thumbelina, telling her about the different flowers, trees, and creatures that lived there. Their journey continued, and they met a charming swallow named Luna. Luna sang sweet melodies, her voice like a gentle breeze on a summer day. Thumbelina was enchanted by Luna's songs and asked her to sing more. Luna happily obliged, and her music filled the garden, attracting a gathering of friendly creatures. But not all creatures in the garden were friendly. A sinister spider named Malister sought to snare Thumbelina in his web. He had heard of the tiny fairy's adventures and wanted to add her to his collection of trapped creatures. Thumbelina, Finley, Maximilian, and Luna worked together to outsmart Malister and escape his web. Through her bravery and kindness, Thumbelina triumphed over every obstacle and ultimately found her way back home to her flower petal boat. Her tiny heart full of joy, she reunited with her garden friends, who celebrated her return with a grand fairy feast. From that day on, Thumbelina's legend grew, and fairies from far and wide came to hear tales of her incredible adventures. And though she remained small in size, her spirit and heart remained as vast and radiant as the garden itself. Thumbelina continued to explore the garden, discovering new wonders and making more friends. Her story inspired other fairies to be brave, kind, and curious, and her name became synonymous with courage and adventure. And so, the tiny fairy Thumbelina lived happily ever after, her heart full of joy and her spirit soaring like a bird in flight.